I can't believe I made it. I can't believe that I was scrambling until the very last second to make it here live with you guys. Welcome to the Kellie kitchen. I think I almost killed somebody on my way to get here on time. We have a packed night of home keto cooking. Should be fun. Say hi, tell me where you're from. If you are seeing this on replay, let me know. I have lemon chicken soup. This was a super family favorite when we lived back in the East. And we used to always go to these Greek diners along the road when we lived in Connecticut. And they always served this avocado soup, which is just a lemon chicken soup. Hi, Mariah. How are you? Well, it's evening in Florida, but good to see you. So we're making a keto version of a lemon chicken soup. Instead of using rice, we're using cauliflower rice. And so we're going to show you how to do that. We're also going to make my keto macaroons. We're going to dip them in we're going to drizzle some chocolate over those. And then we're going to make some chaffle onion rings. And maybe I've been living under a rock, but I have seen these chaffle onion rings all over TikTok, and I'm not really a TikTok person, but we're gonna make those, and I don't have a recipe for that because it's just two things. It's just cheese and onions on a chaffle maker, but all of my other recipes you can find on my website, which is thekelliekitchen.com, thekelliekitchen.com with an IE, Kellie with an IE. I have a new kitchen setup here, so I might be fiddling with the camera a little bit because I have a new tripod there, and I'm not sure if it's going to hold up or not, but, you know, it wouldn't be the first time something fell over in this kitchen. So let's get started. The reason that I'm making these two things together, the macaroons and the lemon chicken soup, is because the lemon chicken soup calls for 4 egg yolks, and the keto macaroons calls for 4 egg whites, and I absolutely abhor wasting egg whites or egg yolks. So we're going to be making both of these things. We're going to start with our keto macaroons. In my bowl here, I have 2 cups of shredded coconut. I have 3/4 of a cup of almond flour, and I have 1/2 of a cup of allulose. You could probably use powdered erythritol as well, but you want to have the powdered version of the erythritol or the allulose, because when they cool, that low-carb sweetener starts to crystallize, and allulose doesn't. So those are our dry ingredients. I'm going to also add to the dry ingredients a little bit of melted butter and a little bit of vanilla extract. But in the meantime, I'm going to take my egg whites. So that's all mixed. We're going to mix that all together in a second. And as soon as our butter is done, we will pour that and the vanilla in there and kind of toss those things. But we're going to beat the egg whites to a stiff peak. We're going to beat those to a stiff peak because we're going to do my favorite thing, which is folding in the egg whites. So we're going to get going on this. There's nothing fancy about this. Do not be afraid of beating your egg whites. It'll take about a minute or two, and it's miraculous how they come together, and they will form stiff peaks. And then as soon as these are, as soon as we whip a bunch of air into the egg whites, then we're going to fold it into our coconut. One of the things that I wanted to say about the coconut is that a lot of the bags are called shredded coconut, and some of them look almost like ground coconut, like ground flour, and then some of it looks a little bit stringy. For this recipe, I like to use the the ground kind. It's almost like the difference between shredded Parmesan and grated Parmesan. We're going to use the grated version. So it's very, very fine grained. You see how our egg whites are getting nice and stiff? We're going to keep those. We want to build as much air in those because those give a lightness to our cookies. Do you see how easy that works together? I love that. Okay. Let's take a look at how stiff the beets are. Ready? Stiff peaks. Those are, I think, good enough. So we have our egg whites in one bowl, and we have our dry ingredients in this other bowl. I got a piece of, I'm working with dill and the lemon, and I got a piece of dill in the egg whites. You don't want that. Okay, so into our dry mixtures, let me just show you this for a second. So this is the coconut. It's very fine grain grated coconut. The shredded coconut, you can use this also. They're both called shredded coconut, but this is more like, they're more like strands. Do you see that? And those are fine too for this recipe, but I just like to use, those are a little bit stringier. So I like to use the grated kind. And I'm just going to mix my almond flour, my allulose, and my coconut together. Truth be told, I was never really a huge coconut fan before I started keto, and I have learned to really, really love it. So I'm adding a tablespoon of melted butter, and whoops, and then I'm going to add just a teaspoon of really great vanilla extract. So we'll do a teaspoon of that right in there. And then we're just going to fluff that together. And, okay, so this is the part that I don't want you to be afraid of. This is the part where it says fold in the egg whites. And the only way that you can really do this wrong is if you dump all the egg whites in and you mix it really, really hard. So we're not going to do that. We're going to do half of the egg whites. We will gently drop those in there. And then almost like a figure eight, we're gonna fold the coconut over the egg. Okay, good. We're gonna mix that in there, and all of the coconut, we're gonna try and do this as gently as possible so we don't get any of the air out of, we don't beat any of the air out of the egg whites. Okay, so that first half is put in there. We're gonna put the second half. I've got my oven going at 350 degrees, and I'm gonna line a baking sheet with parchment paper. And I like to use, as you guys know, I like to use my mini ice cream scoop. You can use two, spoons to do this. This makes about 24 cookies. So it's a big recipe. You could even half it if you wanted to. And once the cookies are done, you can decide if you want to do the chocolate on top. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't want to. So here is our coconut cookie dough. Look at all these people come to see me. I'm so happy to say hi to see everybody. Oh, there's Jennifer. How are you? Okay, so there is our coconut cookie dough. I've got my, forgot my parchment paper. I'm just going to do 12 of these right now, and I'm going to save 12 for a little bit later. And where is my thing? There it is. This is one of my favorite tools, like a couple bucks on Amazon. So super easy. And we're just going to do scoopfuls of our coconut macaroon. Again, this will make about 24, but I'm only going to make about 12 right now, and I'll save the rest for after we get off camera. I have some things that I want to share with you. I'm not sure if you guys have seen on Facebook. I mean, obviously you're here on Facebook, so you're a frequent user, and you probably look at a lot of keto stuff. So Facebook knows that, and they will show you ads when you're scrolling. And I'm sure you guys have seen this ad. I was enticed as well. And it's an ad where they are making keto croissants and keto, it's a video. They're making keto croissants, they're making keto hamburger buns, they're making keto tortillas. And this is the book that they're advertising. Keto Carbs. And they've got pasta and focaccia bread and linguine and hamburger buns and tortillas and raviolis. Okay. I haven't tried any of these recipes, but nothing in here is anything special. So we're going to go through these recipes in the next couple of weeks, and I'm going to try some of these, and we're going to see if they actually work. The one thing that I will say about that cookbook to watch out for, I'm putting these in the oven. Sorry, I got sidetracked teaching you about that. Okay, putting those in the oven for 10 minutes. The one thing that I wanted to make note about this is that I read the reviews, and most people were worried about the other charges that you get for this book. So you only have to pay for shipping and handling. It's like $6.95. It's not even a big deal, okay? But then I got an email saying, you've been signed up for keto coaching, and you've been signed up for an ab blaster class. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, am I going to get charged for all of these things? Finally, after 3 calls, I got them on the line, and they were like, oh, sorry, we sent those emails erroneously. But a lot of people in the reviews were talking about how they had been charged the $6 for this, and then they were charged for this automatic keto coaching. So beware when you buy this. I don't know if these recipes are great or not. I'm going to try them, and I'm going to show you all about them. This is not my book. But if you decide to get that book, just beware that they don't double charge you or secretly charge you for other things, okay? Cookies are going. We are cooking. We're going to get started in we're going to get started with our lemon chicken soup. I have my new stock pot. I'm so excited about this stock pot. I got this. Look at how cool this is. It's an oval shaped stock pot. It's kind of vintage, and I'm super in love with it. So I've got my heat going on that. It's on medium right now while I get all this stuff sort of out of the way. And I'll plug these in so I can get these kind of ready for us. Get this out of the way. Okay, so lemon chicken soup. Yum, yum, yum. Okay, so I have my stock pot, my gorgeous new stock pot. And I'm going to put just a little bit of olive oil in the bottom. This is about 2 tablespoons. I'm going to crank that heat up. I have half of an onion, and I also have about a half of a cup of chopped celery. Now, I like to do them really finely chopped for this soup because you don't puree it or anything. And I don't necessarily want this to be a chunky soup, but it does add a nice bulk to it. So I'm going to add my onion and my celery. I'm going to get that started. I don't know if you guys can see this. I don't know. You cannot. I made my rotisserie chicken in my Instant Pot. You guys, that recipe is super easy. If you have an Instant Pot, bone in, skin on chicken in the Instant Pot. It's one of the easiest recipes. It is on my website, and I make this almost every single week. And it's super, super easy. So I've got my chicken breast already ready. I'm going to soften up my onion and my celery. And while that is doing its thing, this soup comes together really quickly because all of my stuff is already sort of ready. I have riced cauliflower. The recipe calls for 4 cups. I'm just going to use 2 bags. Those are 10 ounces each. I don't need to measure those. That's just that's a good amount for me. I also have, like I told you, because the macaroons use egg whites, I have 4 egg yolks. Again, don't be afraid because we are going to temper these egg yolks. And we're going to put them, we're going to take some of the hot stock and mix it with the eggs and get them going so that they don't scramble. But we'll start to cook them a little bit, and that helps thicken the soup a lot. Okay, so our onions and our celery are doing what they're supposed to be doing. I am going to add in our cauliflower. This is our riced cauliflower. 2 bags. Now, normal avo limino soup or normal lemon chicken soup has rice in it. It also calls for dill. In the recipe, I call out dill, and I don't say I don't say fresh or dry, because if you have fresh dill growing in your backyard, it's like a weed, and you can have it all the time. But I rarely pick it up at the supermarket fresh. Today, for you guys, I picked up fresh dill, but you can use dry dill if you want to. So we're just going to heat up and coat our cauliflower rice. It's still a tiny bit frozen, so we're going to just let that kind of thaw out a little bit. We are going to add some salt and some pepper. Where's my stuff here? I wasn't as organized as I thought I was. But remember, it was a mad scramble for me to get here. So we're just happy I'm all in one piece, right? I think so. Okay, so 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and where's my pepper? There's my pepper. We'll just do a couple of really great cracks of black pepper. Now, if you're Greek, please don't criticize my Greek version of this soup. I'm just trying to keto-fy it because I love it so much. If you have any tips, I would love that too. But we happen to really love this soup. I don't know if you noticed, but I am wearing flip-flops today because it's starting to warm up here in Southern California. Still is a little bit of a chill in the air, but it's starting to warm up. So it was beach weather this weekend, and when the sun goes down, it gets chilly again. Okay, so off to the side, I have 8 cups of chicken stock, and I gotta check my recipe again. And I have my lemon juice and my dill all ready to go. So one of the other things is that if you want to thicken this soup a little bit more, you can add glucomannan. I've been talking a lot about glucomannan lately. Glucomannan is also known as konjac root. It is 2 carbs, but then it has 2 grams of fiber, so 0 carbs. And this works really, really well to to thicken soups and hot things, sauces, gravies. And so anyways, we're going to keep that off to the side because I might be using that. You don't necessarily have to. You could even use a little teensy bit of xanthan gum if you wanted to. Okay, so while this is, I think this is probably doing its thing. It's on medium-high heat. I'm going to add 8 cups of chicken stock. I already have this sort of a little bit warm. I'm going to add that. And we're going to get this nice and hot. We're going to get it simmering. And as soon as that simmers, then we're going to whisk it into the eggs and we'll combine everything and we'll make it nice and thick and delicious. Our cookies are almost done. But if you have been living under a rock like me, you may or may not have seen the viral thing on TikTok that is the Chaffle onion rings. And there is no recipe for this. So I don't have it on my website. I can't really tell you too much about it other than that it's onions and mozzarella cheese. And everybody's raving about it. So we are going to make it tonight. So I have 1 yellow onion, and I kind of sliced it a little bit thick. This is, I would say it's about 1/2 inch thick, and you're going to take these and make them into rings, just like that. There's our cookies. So that's for our onions, for our onion rings. Okay, those need about 2 more minutes. Those need 2 more minutes. And let's just move the chaffle makers. I like to put them on these little things here. I don't think they can reach all the way over there. But they tend to get a little bit messy with all the cheese that drips down from them. So we're going to just put them just like this. And then, okay, I'm almost a little bit embarrassed to show you this recipe or to show you this little how-to, but everybody's talking about it and I've never tried it, so we're just going to try it. So we take mozzarella cheese and I almost forgot the most important part. You got to use Pam or else it'll stick on both sides. Okay, we'll do a little bit there. And then you're going to put a couple of onions. Let's go like this and like this. And one more. And then we'll put more cheese right on top. And then you're just supposed to close it. I think that'll work. Let's see. I'm not sure. But onions and cheese are they all kind of work really well together. So this is a little experiment for us, okay? This is what recipe developing in the Kellie kitchen is like. You get to try these things out with me. And you get to see me do it. I cut the onions in half a little bit so that I could lay them a little bit flatter on the waffle iron, on my little dash. Okay, another handful of cheese, and we'll close that one. See how it goes. I don't know. Yay! Cookies! Well, aren't these gorgeous? There, my friends, are keto macaroons. Now, one little trick that I do with my macaroons, because most of the time with keto cookies, they tend to be, they don't flatten like regular cookies with regular flour and butter. So sometimes I tap my baking sheet on the counter so that the cookies fall a little bit. So I'm gonna get my other little guy. You can also press them down a little bit if you want to. Sometimes you want to have the coconut macaroons a little bit more round anyways. So we're going to put these off to the side, let them cool a little bit because we are going to add a chocolate drizzle on top. Won't that be delish? Okay, so those are going off to the side. Those are going to cool for a little bit. Our Chaffle onion rings are kind of doing their thing. And now it's time to get back to the main event, our lemon chicken soup. Whoops. And our broth is just starting to simmer. So I have my 4 egg yolks. I'm just going to keep an eye on the time here. I got my 4 egg yolks. And I am going to whisk them together. This is a two-handed thing, okay? So my soup is nice and hot and starting to simmer over here. And we're going to take a ladle of the hot soup. We're going to drizzle it in here while I'm whisking with the other hand. Do not be afraid. I promise. This is not as hard as you might think. And if you feel like you're scrambling the eggs, just take a strainer and pour the soup back into it and you'll get all the curdled little pieces of the egg out. Okay, so I'm going to take a ladle full of my chicken stock. There is no onion in here, there's no celery in here, and I'm just going to very slowly drizzle it in to my eggs, and that will temper the eggs. It'll bring the temperature up, and it will also make the entire thing thicken as you cook it even more. So my eggs have now been tempered. They have been brought up. The bowl is nice and warm. And I'm going to now, I wish I could show you, but I'm going to now whisk my egg mixture into my chicken stock. And no scrambled eggs, okay? So that has a beautiful creamy yellowness to it. And the more it cooks, the more it will thicken up, okay? So I've got my beautiful soup here. I am going to add a 1/4 of a cup to a 1/2 of a cup of fresh lemon juice. Pour that right in there. Give that a nice stir. I'm going to add in my 4 cups of shredded chicken. And then I'm going to add in, so you either use a tablespoon of dry dill. This is about a 1/2 of a cup. I'm going to use about 1/2 of this and see if it's enough. And then we're going to taste it and see how that goes. We're going to sprinkle that on. Oh, I got to get a picture of this for sure. And we're going to let this simmer here for a few more minutes while our onion rings are coming up. Let's take a look at them. Wow. Okay. I think maybe next time I will do a little bit thinner on the onion, but who knows? Maybe this is how it's supposed to be. Woo. Wow. Okay. Who knew? We're going to try those in a few minutes after they cool. Oh, this one I think is going to be the winner. It's a much thinner onion. The onion sort of laid a little bit flat. So we're going to, whoops. Did you see that? The whole lid just flew off. We're going to cut the rest of these onions in half. I think that's a better technique so that the onions sort of lay a little bit more flat. I have, we're getting the chocolate drizzle ready. So in the microwave, I have a tablespoon of coconut oil melting in there, and it's going to get nice and hot. And then we're going to make our chocolate drizzle. In the meantime, to make our chocolate drizzle, I have very hot coconut oil, and it's very hot, and I'm going to add 1/4 cup of chocolate chips right to our coconut oil. And I'm just going to let that sit here for a second because that's going to melt on its own. It's a little trick I found. If you try to keep microwaving these things, it'll burn the chocolate. Okay, so our lemon chicken soup is beautifully thick, and I'm going to taste it in just a second, but let me put the next batch of our Chaffle onion rings on our little mini dash dealy bobs. Anybody can do this. It's just cheese and onions, and we'll get a taste of it in just a second. I'll let you know. So that's about a tablespoon of cheese, of mozzarella cheese, and then I'm going to put another tablespoon right here, right there on the bottom. I'm going to lay flat a couple of onions. I think kind of the smaller onions are probably a little bit better. Just lay those a little bit flat, and then we'll do a little bit of cheese right on top, about another tablespoon. And I'm just going to close that. Okay, now this one, again, we'll just do a couple of my little onions, little slices, and then I'm going to do, that's a generous tablespoon, okay? We'll close that. We'll let it go for, again, about 3 minutes. Let's try, okay? This is kind of cool. This is our Chaffle. Chaffle onion ring. I like that. It's good. It's crunchy. Probably could cook it a little bit longer, but wow. Chaffle onion ring. Try it, guys. It's easy. Okay, let's check our chocolate. Oh, nice. Okay, so I let my chocolate chips just sit in that hot coconut oil, and now I just let them sit there, and they did the melting for me. I didn't even have to microwave the chocolate. Sometimes I find with Lily's chocolate chips, especially the white ones, they seize up in the microwave. So this came together very, very nicely, and I didn't have to cook the chocolate at all. I just let it sit inside my hot coconut oil. Okay, see how I'm going to show you this. Okay, these are my coconut macaroons. You can eat them just like this. I keep them in the freezer in a Ziploc bag. I give them away. They're beautifully soft. Yum, yum, yum. So Donna just asked if these would make a good bun for like a thick burger. I actually think that they would work. They would be a little bit messy, but I do think that it would be a nice flavor. And if you just did the burger with the tomato and some lettuce and some mayo, I think that would be really, really delicious. Okay. enough of my chewing of my cookies. I'll put, this is mine. We'll put that one over there. This is for everybody else who wants some coconut macaroons. I'm just going to take my yummy, yummy chocolate. You can see this. We'll do this from right. Hope to God I don't drop this. I think I'll be okay. I can't wait to taste my chicken soup. So we're just going to drizzle, drizzle, drizzle. And you will let these cool on the counter or in the refrigerator to get the chocolate to solidify. And look at how beautiful these are. They're really gorgeous. And because I made them with allulose and fresh unsweetened coconut, they are not too sweet. So my little friends out there in Facebook land, there are our keto macaroons. I'm not going to have one right now because I'm already getting full from everything else that I'm eating. There's our keto macaroons. Super easy. I'm going to try our soup. We'll taste it and we will see if I need to add any other seasoning. Oh, it's beautiful. And it's perfectly thick. I don't need to add any thickener to it, but I'm going to taste it for seasonings and I think it should be perfect. I might add a little bit more dill, that's for sure. Lemon, dill. It has the cauliflower in there, so it gives it a nice chew. And there is my lemon chicken soup. Okay, last thing to check on are chaffles. Uh-oh, I burnt that one. Shh, don't tell anyone. Peter will eat it, I'm sure. It's not his birthday anymore. Actually, he won't even know. That one is done. And this one, lift that one out. I don't want to burn myself. Ah! That one I kind of did burn, so we're just going to put that one off to the side. But look at our hot. These are our onion ring chaffles. And this is what the back looks like. It's a little bit thicker with your onions. But it really has a nice flavor. Chaffle onion rings, who knew? That went way too fast, you guys. We made our coconut macaroons. We made our lemon chicken soup. And we made our onion ring chaffles. All the recipes you can find, except for those onion ring chaffles, on my website, thekellykitchen.com. If you'd like to join my private Facebook group, I'm at Low Carb Work Lunches and Snacks. That's Low Carb Work Lunches and Snacks. You can find that group from my Facebook page, The Kellie Kitchen. And I'm giving you a lot of information today. It's starting to warm up here in Southern California, and spring is in the air, and everybody's hopefully starting to get out a little bit more. Thank you for joining me, and I guess I'll see you next week, right? Next week, I already know what we're making. We're making beef enchiladas and Oreo chaffles. Yeah, that's what we're making, I promise. I just have to get those recipes written. All right. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you next week. You know, ask any questions and I will check all the comments. And thanks for watching. Okay. Bye.